Chapter 9, Lesson 2. Main Ideas. Economics. The Manor system provided an economic structure in Europe during the Middle Ages. Culture. During the Middle Ages, knights were highly valued for their military skills. Culture. During the Middle Ages, towns gradually reappeared and thrived. Daily life in medieval Europe. Build on what you know. During the Middle Ages, feudalism formed the basis of European society. But what was it like to live in the feudal system? In this lesson, you will read about how the main classes of feudal society lived. The manor system. Essential question. What role did the manor system play in the economic structure of Europe during the Middle Ages? As you have read, warfare and political disorder characterized much of Europe during the Middle Ages. In the absence of strong central governments, Europe became little more than a series of kingdoms and lands held by high-ranking nobles. In such a setting, there was little trade or commercial interaction. Instead, the lands held by the nobles became the center of most economic activity. The role of the manor. The main part of a noble's land was called a manor. The center of a manor was the house where the lord and his family lived. Often the manor house was a fortified building or castle. Surrounding the manor house was the lord's estate. Much of the estate consisted of farmland. Geography and the manor system. The geography of Europe played a key role in the development of self-contained manors. Plenty of rainfall and mild temperatures created good conditions for farming. In addition, numerous streams and lakes offered fresh water and fish. In short, the land provided nearly everything the manor needed. Such a way of life could not develop in other places. For example, the Arabian Peninsula had a hot, dry climate that did not support agriculture. Shown here is a chart comparing the farmable land in 4 present-day and similarly sized countries, 2 in Europe and 2 in drier regions. The manor life and the economy. As Lesson 1 explained, peasants called serfs lived and worked on the manor. The serfs farmed the land, which formed the economic basis of the manor system. Serfs were said to be bound to the soil. This meant that they were considered part of the property. They remained on the land if a new lord acquired it. Feudalism and manor life had a powerful effect on the medieval European economy. The land on a manor supplied residents with most of the things they needed. As a result, most activity, from farming to woodworking to winemaking, took place on the manor. Manors became worlds unto themselves, and few people ever left the property. The Age of Chivalry. Essential question. What was chivalry? As you learned in Lesson 1, knights were often vassals or lesser nobles who fought on behalf of lords in return for land. During the Middle Ages, conflict often broke out between various lords. Many times they settled a quarrel simply by attacking each other. To do their fighting, lords relied on knights who were skilled horse riders and fighters. Knighthood and chivalry. Knights were not merely professional fighters. They were expected to live by a code of honor known as chivalry. They had to demonstrate a strong religious faith and a willingness to defend the Catholic Church. They were also expected to protect women and the weak. In addition, knights were supposed to fight against injustice and show courage in every battle they fought. The battles that knights and other warriors fought ranged from bloody open field skirmishes to grueling attacks on castles. To capture a castle, lords and knights used weapons such as battering rams and catapults. Often an attacking force put a castle under siege. During a siege, an army tries to prevent food or supplies from entering a castle. Its goal was to slowly starve the people inside and force them to surrender. The growth of towns. Essential question. What was town life like during the Middle Ages? Around AD 1000, town life began to return to Europe. This was due in large part to the fact that a number of lords became increasingly powerful. They brought peace and stability to numerous regions. As a result, people felt more safe and secure. Merchants began to travel more freely and trade their goods. Wherever merchants settled, builders and other tradespeople gathered around them. Town life. Most medieval towns were dirty, cramped, and busy places. In the center of town were the market square and a cathedral. The streets were narrow, filthy, and usually not paved. After a rain, streets turned to mud that was often knee-deep. Most of the houses were made out of wood and easily caught fire. As a result, entire towns often burned down. In France, between 1200 and 1225, the city of Rouen burned down 6 times. The guilds. In towns, people with the same occupation formed groups called guilds. Many guilds were formed by tradespeople, such as goldsmiths, bakers, weavers, and dyers. Guilds made rules that controlled the quantity and quality of production. The guilds watched out for their members and worked to make sure everyone found employment. The formation of the guilds was one of many unique aspects of life in medieval Europe. However, a feudal society developed thousands of miles away in Japan that showed both similarities and differences to the way of life in Europe. Lesson summary. The manor system shaped the economy in feudal Europe. During an age marked by warfare and fighting, knights became a highly valued group in society. As warfare declined and trade increased, town life reappeared during the Middle Ages. Why it matters now. Today, people who share an occupation often form groups known as unions. Unions help their members gain better wages and working conditions.